Outdoors Delmarva covers everything outdoors,
including real hunting and fishing situations involving wildlife.
We do our best each and every week to keep it tasteful, but discretion is advised.
Now, enjoy the show.
This is the best of Outdoors Delmarva, presented by Gateway Subaru. Higher standards. Some adventures are too good to experience just once. Here's Mike with a look back on one of our favorite adventures.
Thanks for watching Outdoors Delmarva. High flying edition. I'm Mike Parker, and well, you can tell where Captain Willie Dykes is. He's just up above me in Chopper 16. We have quite an adventure this week. As you can see, I'm doing something that I've always wanted to do. Finally got a chance, thanks to our friends at Delmarva Balloon Rides, to take off from just outside of Ridgely, Maryland, and we've been hovering here at about 1,500 feet in this gorgeous brand new hot air balloon, just taking in the sights. And I'll tell you what, there is no better way to get outdoors Delmarva. How do we get up here? Great question. Well, good thing I brought my camera with me, because I'm going to show you right now. Take a look. The first thing you should know about going on a hot air balloon ride is it's best to get up early.
We're going to try to take off maybe about 15 minutes after sunrise. That's when the winds are most light and favorable for flying. It is nice to see the sunrise coming up from the balloon. All right.
Todd Davis is the owner and operator of Delmarva Balloon Rides and asked us to meet him at about 5 a.m. at Ridgely Airfield in Caroline County, Maryland, where a pretty elaborate setup began. First step is to set up the large wicker basket we'll be riding in and test its propane torch, because realistically, if it doesn't work, well, there's no point in going any further.
Ready? Hot and loud.
Next, it's time to set the balloon up, starting by removing it from a large sleeping bag-like sack, then stretching it out across the field. Todd's friend, Nick Manthos, along with Hank Draper, will work as a team to keep the nylon material flat until it's time to fire up a generator and blast air into the skirt of this 105,000 cubic foot balloon.
This is where we let the heat out if we need to.
Now, the simple science at work here is that heat rises.
Ready?
So, as Todd blasts a flame into the balloon, it heats the air, expands the material, and lifts it right off the ground. And eventually, us too. Well, I guess we're preparing for, what do you call it, liftoff, Todd?
That's correct.
All right, so here goes nothing.
Let's do it.
Within just a few minutes, Todd, myself, and Hank are floating off, while Nick follows us in a recovery vehicle below. And thanks to a timely arrival by Chopper 16, you'll be seeing this adventure from both my perspective in the basket and Captain Willie's from his cockpit.
This looks like a near perfect morning for a hot air balloon ride here on Delmarva. And my buddy Mike Parker has a ticket for a flight out of Ridgely in Caroline County.
Part of the fun of flying in a balloon is the ability to change elevations, so we can easily hang out at 1,500 feet and see for miles around, or possibly my favorite part of the trip, hovering just above the treetops, low enough to even grab a quick souvenir. Watch this move.
Good morning, Mike. How does Delmarva look this morning?
Willie, it's absolutely beautiful. You're not going to believe it, but I just picked a leaf off the top of a tree.
Most striking about the ride is the chance to see things from a whole new perspective. An unobstructed view, great for taking pictures. And if you're comfortable in the basket, just relaxing and taking in the beauty as you float nearly silently above the world beneath you.
Hey honey, just wanted to say hi from a hot air balloon. It's pretty amazing. Words can't describe, I guess. Take a look.
Hot air balloon operators require a pilot's license and typically have years of flying under their belts.
But all the experience in the world can't change the fact that every flight is going to be different.
I think we're looking at Holly Road.
And each flight is also accompanied by the unpredictability of just how far you'll travel and where you'll be able to land.
Maybe Cedar Lane. I'm going to land in the field right next to Cedar Lane, Nick.
After about 45 minutes in the air, Todd is ready to put her down.
For the rest of you aviators out there, this is what it looks like when a balloon is on final approach.
But as we make our approach, the timing is just off, and we'll maintain our elevation a little bit more until we see another suitable stop.
Perfect landing spot. I'm happy.
Well, after just a few minutes, another landing spot fits our needs, where we should be able to put the balloon down gently and allow Nick to drive right up to us in the recovery vehicle.
Yeah, look at that, right next to the road. That's cool. Hell, he's going to put it right on the road.
It is a beautiful landing as Nick steadies the basket and the balloon slowly deflates as we go from passengers to crew, now helping to fold up the balloon right here on the road and stuffing it back gently into its case. Now ready for its next flight, sure to be someone else's experience of a lifetime.
Well, I want to thank the guys from Delmarva Balloon Rides for helping me check something off the bucket list this morning. The entire experience was just great. Make sure you check them out at delmarvaballoonrides.com. We'll be right back. But first, did you know? The nylon material that makes up the bulk of a hot air balloon isn't very strong at all. It's another component that allows it to withstand such internal pressure. What is it? The answer when we come back.
You're watching the best of Outdoors Delmarva, presented by Gateway Subaru. Higher standards. Sponsored by Ocean City Tourism, Shorts Marine, and Shooter's Choice. The best of Outdoors Delmarva will be right back.
Did you know? The nylon material that makes up the bulk of a hot air balloon isn't very strong at all. It's another component that allows it to withstand such internal pressure. What is it?
The fabric itself only takes about 5 pounds of pressure. It's the Kevlar lines that go all the way to the top that control they take all the pressure from the lift.
Did You Know is sponsored by North Bay Marina. You're watching the best of Outdoors Delmarva. Here's Mike with a look back on one of our favorite adventures.
Well, you know what? The weather has been a little bit scary to start off this week. Anybody in the mid-shore and above had some pretty serious thunderstorms, say, Monday night into Tuesday. Well, we're out here on the Chesapeake Bay this morning, left from Easton, so yeah, we were a little bit concerned about the weather. It turns out, though, what a gorgeous day. I'm here aboard the charter boat Mary Ann with Captain Gary Bramble and some friends, and what we're going to do is show you a fishing technique that is just perfect for Chesapeake rockfish this time of year. It's called live lining. For those of you who know what we're talking about, you take a live spot, hook him up, let him swim, and hope the rockfish can't resist.
As we departed the boathouse on the Tret Avon River, the only forecast that really mattered today was for a good boat, a great captain and crew, and a feeling that we were gonna find the fish.
Yeah, they've been partying up in here, or up in here. We're just gonna look around, find a load of fish, and then we're gonna set up on them and we're gonna catch them.
As we find ourselves cruising around the area of the False Channel in about 23 feet of water, Captain Gary Bramble keeps an eye to the fish finder and keeps a dialogue with some other charter captains who don't mind teaming up to locate feeding rockfish. After all, if things go right, there should be enough for everybody.
The rockfish really seem like it's they're very abundant, and you know, we've had a very good season so far, and you know, everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing this year. Everything's going fine.
And when others might get a little antsy, the crew aboard the Mary Ann has been here, done this before. The boat finally slows to a crawl and it's anchored down. It's for a reason. Grab the gear, fresh spot on the hooks, and rods in the water.
Like that. There you go. Got him on. All right. Still got him on? All right. Bring him up here. Got him. All right. Legal. I can do it. Do it. Put him right in here. First one. That's the first one. That's what I like to see. Take your time, Jimmy. Oh, come right up here, buddy. We got him. Pretty little fish. Here we go. Nice, Jimmy. Let's cool it off.
In case you're wondering, the action you're seeing is happening as briskly as it appears. After bringing the first few scattered rock aboard, this part of the video barely needs to be edited for time.
Okay, right up.
Put yourself in my position behind the camera for a minute. Every time one of these guys brings one fish aboard, I am running to get a shot of the next one, already hooked up. And every one of them a keeper.
All right. He's out. Wait a minute. There he is. All right, okay. Where you at, Jimmy? You got another one? Let me get right between you. Get him up here. Yep. Bring him up there. Got it. That's all right. He's 18. I'm pretty sure he's 18, but I'll check it to make sure. All right. Just leave him lay right there a minute. Yep. Got one, Gary? Bring him in here. Bring him up here, buddy. Oop, a nice fish. Nice fish. Bring him over. Got him.
Were you watching? That is 4 fish in under a minute.
We've been extremely lucky, you know, last few years caught our limit every day.
Oh, it's been awesome. Let it go down to the bottom, reel it up 2 cranks, 3 cranks, and let the rockfish do the work for you.
Every time, it's exhilarating every time you get to come and you get on the fish. And the first thing in the morning, we got on them right away this morning, so we were out here and we'll be done pretty early today.
In a matter of just 10 to 15 minutes of fishing, we have limited out. 9 guys, 2 fish apiece, 18 rock in the cooler. There is no other way to describe it than a blitz.
What do you think, Mike?
I think you did pretty good, huh?
How long did that take?
But while there'd be no shame in calling it a day after a morning like this, the crew aboard the Marianne is just getting warmed up. The same spot that Captain Bramble bought for today's bait have now arrived hot and heavy in the Chesapeake itself. And a short trip later, we grab some even lighter tackle rods, load up the hooks with bloodworms, and start pulling up the spot. Each one finding its new home in a soon-to-be crowded 50-gallon drum.
They don't live as good as these slime.
As a day on the bay goes, you can't beat a rockfish blitz like this, catching the limit in just minutes, with some bonus time thrown in just for fun, just to let them know who's boss. And when you can spend the rest of the day catching enough bait for the next week, well, that's the type of day you wish never had to end.
Get outdoors, Delmarva.
Some adventures are too good to experience just once. This is the best of Outdoors Delmarva, presented by Gateway Subaru. Higher standards. Some adventures are too good to experience just once. This is the best of Outdoors Delmarva, presented by Gateway Subaru. Higher standards.
Hey, I'm out here aboard the Lucky Break, captained by Jason Mumford, and we're out here on the Isle of Wight Bay, just a couple hundred yards off the coast of Ocean City, Maryland. It's cold, it's windy, but I'll tell you what, it's all been worth it because of what's resting out on that island.
It was a cold and windy morning aboard the Lucky Break, captained by Jason Mumford.
Some kind of an Arctic coastal adventure.
When I met up with members of the Assateague Coastal Trust, we were keeping our eyes peeled for seals.
From the inlet, you can look over. If you've got a good pair of binoculars or a spotting scope, you'll see them popping around the inlet, sometimes even right here on the rocks. Okay, there they are. They're coming up now. See one?
And it wasn't long before we were rocking. Just a few hundred yards north of the Route 50 bridge, there was no mistaking a rather plump profile on the banks of a small sandy island.
We've got one up there sunning, and there's a couple others here bopping around checking us out in the water, keeping our respectful 100-yard distance, which is mandated by the Marine Mammal Protection Act. And they seem pretty chill.
And we want them to feel comfortable here. We want them to keep coming back. It's a good sign that they like our coastal bays. There's plenty of fish here for them, and they feel safe and secure.
Seal sightings off Delmarva are nothing new, but most experts will agree there's more these days, and several types. Harbor, harp, hooded, and gray seals have all been documented from Delaware down to the Carolina coast. Federal protection from hunting has increased both population and their migratory habitats.
So there you go, add seal watching to the eco-tourism business here around the coastal bays of Maryland. Hopefully it's something we can enjoy for many, many years to come. Reporting from the Isle of White Bay in Worcester County, I'm Mike Parker, reminding you to get outdoors, Delmarva.
And now it's time to check in with an old friend. Here's this week's Scorchy's Corner Classic.
Little by little, a step each day. It was Jeannie who captured his heart. Henry, she named him. Henry, you see, is a squirrel. We first noticed him in early spring, tucked neatly into our bird feeder, feasting on sunflower seeds. He was obviously a nervous youngster who came to the feeder every day and fled into the safety of the trees at the slightest approach. Each day, Jeannie edged closer while talking softly to him. And as days passed into weeks, Henry fell in love with Jeannie. In any event, Henry put his trust in Jeannie. And as you can now see, Henry is totally spoiled and has adopted the whole family. He makes regular visits to our back door for handouts. And if his chattering goes unheeded, the little rascal climbs the screen. Henry's visits to the back door are a constant irritation to Puddin', our cat, but a marvel of fascination and wonderment to Andrew, our grandson. In fact, I guess you'd have to say he's become a marvel of fascination to all of us. Meanwhile, he lives contentedly in the neighborhood trees. And oh yes, one day recently, as our friend climbed the back door screen, we noticed something for the first time. Henry isn't Henry at all. Henry is really Henrietta. Scorchy Taws wanting our Delmarva Slam for WBOC News.
Some adventures are too good to experience just once. This is the best of Outdoors Delmarva, presented by Gateway Subaru. Higher standards. You're watching the best of Outdoors Delmarva.
Hi everybody, and thanks for watching Outdoors Delmarva. I'm Mike Parker, spending some time this week with our friends here at Gateway Subaru in Del Mar, Maryland. Not only providing a phenomenal product, but delivering an extraordinary experience when you're buying a new car. Well, we've been loving our 2012 Subaru Outback here for the show. Gets us everywhere we need to go in style and in comfort. We're going to head inside and learn more about this product. Man, I just love coming in here to visit because it's such a beautiful showroom. Boy, they've got everything I need in a car, and they're all on display. Joining me right now, Drew Hazenkope here with Gateway Subaru. How are you, Drew?
Good, how are you?
All right, doing really great. Look, we're saying goodbye to 2011, looking back at some of our favorite adventures this year. But I'm looking ahead now to 2012. And speaking of that, my prediction, I think it's going to be the year of the Subaru here on Delmarva.
I would have to agree. It's been a wonderful 2 years we've been here, and the momentum just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger for us.
Well, let's start by talking about the Outback. Show me around this car.
This is our wonderful product. This is the vehicle that put Subaru on the map. This is everything that Subaru represents. It is, of course, the SUV alternative. You get the room, the comfort, the safety, but you also get the gas mileage. And most important, it's the all-wheel drive.
And about that all-time all-wheel drive, well, we've been putting ours to the test on the beach, in the mud, no problem. All right, let's talk about cargo room. And I would definitely say, definitely has enough room for, say, my family of 4, and Drew probably even one more.
And with one flick of the finger, you have all the cargo space you need.
Wow, I don't even need to break down my fishing rods. Plenty of storage, great stereo, heated seats, And I love this backup mirror. And the other thing about Subarus, they're pet approved. All right, Drew Hayes and Co., thanks so much for showing us around. I'm really impressed with what's happening here at Gateway Subaru.
Well, thank you guys for stopping by. We're proud to serve Delmarva, give them a great product, but most importantly, we're proud to give them a phenomenal experience when buying a vehicle.
All right, sounds great. From symmetrical all-wheel drive up to 34 miles per gallon, luxury that exceeds the price tag and rugged enough to fit all of your outdoor adventures. Gateway Subaru, higher standards. And we'll be right back.
This is the best of Outdoors Delmarva, presented by Gateway Subaru, higher standards. Sponsored by Ocean City Tourism, Shorts Marine, and Shooter's Choice. Now, let's get back to the show.
It's time now to take a look at some of the videos and pictures sent in by our own Outdoors Delmarva viewers.
Preparing for the offshore adventure.
And we begin with some viewer venture cam video taken by several members of the Ocean City Fire Department. The guys departed from Indian River Inlet and spent the day aboard the Blue Bayou with Captain Del Baker.
Walk to the front of the boat.
Mate David Peterson did plenty of work to get 6 rods baited up and in the water. And after a few hours of trolling, well, this trip offshore paid off big time when the yellowfin tuna started nailing the rigs.
Say hi to WBOC, Jeff. Captain Willie and Mike, thank you.
Cover Michael Ellingsworth, Mo Cropper, and Jeff Apparence all worked as a team to boat a big tuna for each.
It just goes to show you, these firefighters work hard, and as this viewer venture video proves, they play hard too. Way to go, guys.
On behalf of the team from Blue Bayou, thank you, Captain Willie and Mike Parker. We had an awesome day today. Wish you guys were with us. Caught some yellowfin, had some great angling go on. We did some great fishing today. We were near the Baltimore and brought home some nice yellowfin. So, catch you next time. Thank you, WBOC.
And now on to this week's pictures.
We start with a shot sent in by a youngster from Sussex County. 9-year-old Ridge Ritter was fishing by the Coast Guard station at Indian River when he found this starfish.
Cindy Black from Milton has been keeping tabs on some turkeys hanging around her area. These jakes were on the trail of a hen who, at this point in the year, Willie, apparently weren't too interested in the boys. All right, for Captain Willie Dykes, I'm Mike Parker, reminding you to get outdoors, Delmarva.
Front guard!